Hi guys, welcome to this week's IMFL. As usual, I'm joined by my lovely husband.
Hello.
Who's being a bit more romantic today. Today we want to talk about how social media has affected our relationship. So if you're interested in listening to that, stay tuned. Yeah, so welcome back, guys. Introduce yourself, Richard. I know
Hello.
I've introduced you, but
What do I say though? I've been introduced so many times on this channel. It's me again,
let's
Richard.
get right back into it.
Cool. Go
So,
for it.
how has social media affected our relationship? Okay, let me start.
Go for it.
One of the biggest problems that I've had with you, Richard, is that sometimes you're on the laptop for ages and ages and ages, and like you don't pay me any attention. So, like sometimes if I come to you and I ask you a question, you say that, oh yeah, let me finish or let me do this, and then before you know it, you're carried away and you're doing other things, and then I don't.
I'm listening.
You see
promise,
what I mean?
I am listening.
This is what I'm talking about. He's not listening to
I'm
me.
listening. You guys know I'm listening. Go on, I'm
yeah,
listening.
so then like I feel like you're not paying me any attention. So that's one of the things that I have an issue about. Would you have to say for yourself?
Well, I didn't think it was a sort of defendant plaintiff sort of thing, but seeing as we're going there, let's talk about it, right? Because first we're talking about social media, okay? She said I'm on my laptop, meaning I'm not on social media.
I didn't say
I'm
that.
on my laptop, so that means I'm working.
What?
Okay?
Not really. Sometimes you've got the Facebook tab open and other things, football, as well as everything else you're doing.
Okay.
So that could be classed as
So
social
which
media
one
as
is
well.
the social? I'm confused here. I thought we were going to be talking about social media today.
That is what I'm talking
Right.
about. I'm just expressing one of the concerns I've had with regards to social media. There are times when you're on your laptop. Yes, you may be working, but you're doing other things as well. So I just feel like you don't give me enough attention.
Okay. Well, these are some of the joys of being a pastor, because you don't have a set time, right, where you're working. So like when people go to work 9 to 5, they come back, right? Mine is a bit different in that I go in and out, in and out, in and out. Could be going up till 12 o'clock. She comes from work during her set time. What time do you normally come back home?
You're asking me. You should know that.
Well, I do know that, but it does change because sometimes she does tutoring after work and all of that. So she does her 9 hours, 10 hours, whatever that shift is, comes home. I'm doing my 9 hour shift and she has a problem, right? I don't complain about the 9 hour time frame that I don't get attention in that 9 hour time frame, right?
Yeah, but I'm at work, so that's different.
Thank you. So I'm at work. See, now you guys
No, that's
can
not
get the
the
time.
point. What I'm trying to say is,
Yeah.
all right, this is gonna be.
It's not going the way she planned.
No,
right?
clearly.
So this is going to be interesting.
Let me talk properly because you're actually making me hot.
Good.
Let me say it properly.
Good. That's the whole point.
let me say what is actually the problem here.
Okay, go on.
I go to work, you're right, 9 hours, 10 hours, sometimes even 11 hours if we're adding travel. Yeah? But the point of the matter is, if I'm doing 9 to 11 hours, let's say,
That's right.
and I leave home, like, let's say 6:30 in the morning, can't you get up and start your day at 6:30 in the morning? So that by like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening, we'll both meet, we can spend some time with the kids, put them into bed, and then have like some us time. Isn't that what most couples do?
Which is what happens most times anyway. But she won't remember those days. Actually.
No, it isn't.
She just doesn't. She seems to have amnesia when it comes to those
Don't
particular
say
things,
that
right?
about amnesia.
But this is the point. This is the point.
Oh
right?
God! Don't listen to him.
Okay,
Honestly,
then there's no
don't
point,
listen
right? I think we just need to move on. I thought I was coming on the channel about social media. I'm about to press stop. On this record, right?
Well, so did something else, but it's become a pressing issue. Okay, well, how else has social media affected our relationship? Let's go back to the drawing board.
Let's go back to the drawing board. Actually, let's stick to the main thing. All right.
Right.
Instagram. Yeah, Instagram. Yeah. I have a big problem with Instagram
Why?
because my wife is the sort of person that likes pictures. Sort of person that can take 10 selfies of her in the same position, right? Just bang, 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 and I wonder why. Have you got same picture in the same position, right? So she likes pictures, and I understand that, right? However, she's the sort that will go on Instagram and she would see one picture and then keep on scrolling, look at another picture, keep on scrolling, and the next thing you know, she's on Instagram for about an hour at least. Now, when you're talking to her, she's talking to you through the phone, right? Yeah, as she's scrolling. So you don't know if she's talking to you or she's talking to Instagram, right? Or if she's listening to you or listening to Instagram. The worst part of it is when, as she's scrolling, she starts laughing to herself. Now
you're making me sound like I'm a mad person.
Well, they can make their own diagnosis, right? But the point is, she'll be laughing to herself while she's scrolling through, and you're thinking, what is she laughing at? And then you ask her, she'll be like, nothing. Okay? So this is my first problem, right? Instagram, I think, I've got a problem with Instagram. I've got a problem with my wife using Instagram and the way she handles Instagram. So that's my first one. As you can see, it's actually about social media, right? So try and toe the same line. Darling. No, go on.
I don't want to appear violent on this.
Appear? I think they've already seen you just give me 2 digs, but it's alright.
Yeah, so obviously you have had issues in the past. I think you should have made that clear.
That is true.
It's not the issue.
It's not the issue at the moment. No.
In terms of how many pictures and stuff I take, I think there's a lot of people in that boat. Maybe it's just a woman thing. I don't know. Perhaps there are even men out there that have this issue. But you take quite a few selfies because you want a choice so that you put the best one up, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. In the
same position.
Well, semi.
Not even a different pose.
You've got a good side, isn't
angle.
it? So you want to make sure you get the best one with your good side sort of thing.
Okay.
But aside that, obviously, like you're saying previously, I did have issues trying to curb how much time I spent on Instagram. Because you'll watch something, then you'll see somebody else, and then you'll go on their feed or their page and check them out, and before you know it, you get carried away. And these things do happen. I think there are a lot of people who are watching us today that might have that same problem. So the only sort of advice I would give with that is set yourself a time frame when you go on Instagram, so that you don't exceed that time. And then what actually worked for me, I don't even know what worked for me.
You stopped for a while. You stopped actually going on Instagram for a long time.
I didn't delete my channel.
You didn't delete the channel, you kept it. Yeah. I think actually you stepped up your Instagram usage when you started this channel.
Yeah, again.
Which and obviously you've been very well. You've handled that very well, reasons. Which I think long may it continue.
Yeah, so not just going on there for no reason and putting stuff up all the time. And I find if you're constantly posting as well, you're going to keep going in there during the day to check how many likes you've got and stuff like that. But obviously we're not defined by how many likes we get, so I think that's important to mention as well.
Okay. Well, that was my social media issue.
Yeah, you see, because then it's going to make it seem because I don't really have much social media issues.
With me?
Yeah, this isn't a social media issue, but I'm still going to bring it up.
Then
It doesn't matter. It's part of the video, isn't it? It's all part. Let's keep with the flow. Phone calls,
Go
guys.
on then.
Richard is always on the phone. Always on the phone. And then he can be on the phone for a good 2 hours.
Oh, come off it, please.
No, that's the truth. Let me just tell them how it is. I know you're a pastor, but there are some issues that we need to bring out. Do you get me?
Okay, go on.
So you can be on the phone for about 2 hours, and then when I ask you, why are you always on the phone? You're like, well, I wasn't just talking to one person, I was talking to several people.
Exactly.
And then you'll be like, what's your problem with me being on the phone? This is part of my job. And that's my most hated phrase. This is part of my job. I get that you've got to call people, and as obviously being a minister, looking after Penta and stuff like that, you've got to make a lot of calls. But I feel from when I have to shout for you when dinner's ready, and I've got to call you 3 times, you're still on the phone, and then sometimes you come and then you'll be making signs at me I'm coming, and it's stop shouting. I think stuff like that really get to me. I just think, you need to know sort of when to have it. Sometimes it's 10:30 and you're still making calls, seriously.
Yeah, there's no cut-off limit, Tab.
Yeah, but Richard,
Yeah,
it's 10:30 p.m. It's my time. You've been working all day. So 10:30, Pay me some attention.
What do you
You're
guys
on
think
the
about
phone
this, right?
at 10:30. Who is he calling at 10:30? It's like ungodly hours. I get that you're a pastor, yeah, but you've got to have a limit. Okay, past 10 p.m, I won't answer any phone calls or make phone calls. Perhaps only make text messages or send text messages or however we want to put it. I think that that's a bit more appropriate.
How often is this?
Very often.
Go on, how
Me
often?
and you both know this.
Tell them how often.
Very often, guys.
No, quantify it. How often?
I can't because
In a week, how often?
3 or 4 times.
After 10:30 p.m.
Sometimes.
So what time do the kids go to bed? So what time do the kids go to bed?
Between 9 and 10 on a normal day.
Well, come off it, please.
Yeah, between 9 and 10 on a normal day.
Even Talia.
Well, obviously she's a baby, so she hasn't quite gotten into a routine yet.
So
but we do try and put her to bed sort of around 9 to 10. Sometimes she goes to bed at 7, but then may wake up at like 9:30.
My point is, what time, right, do I have these calls, and how does Talia go to bed?
Richard, that's got nothing to do with
Of course
what
it
we're
has.
talking about right now.
The point is, right, I can have a whole week, no calls after 10:30. I can have one day, one call after 10:30, and she'll be like, "This always happens. You're always on the phone after 10:30." Right? And she'll start, right, with all of that. The point is, yeah, I'm the sort of person that at times, especially because of the traveling I do, the times that I'll come back, or I'll finish a set amount of hours, or I'll go to a particular service, I'll come back, and there are particular callbacks that I need to make, right? I need to make those callbacks before day dawn. So I make those callbacks.
Before day dawn. So you're talking like 10:30, 11 p.m, just like what I was saying.
Okay, then maybe it's my use of day dawn, right? But the point is, some calls are urgent and they need to be returned. So I return those calls, right? I think we've learnt to deal with this thing. Yeah, we've learnt to deal with this thing. So I don't know what you're on, and I don't know why you want to come and pour it on here now.
I think
but the point
we should
is,
actually change the title of this video.
To what?
We should change it to things we argue about, because this is turning into something else.
No, I don't know why you're bringing that. This is a different video. Things we argue about is a different video.
But we're clearly arguing about something here.
What? You're arguing about something that's not going to change. So what's the point?
You're showing them your true colours.
Exactly. I can't change that, right? I need to return calls. Yeah.
But you need to be able to adapt it so that I'm happy as well. I'm your wife.
Which I do.
I'm not happy right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked her how often she should quantify it.
And that's a 3
because
to 4 times.
These are actually, no, it's not very often actually. It's actually occasional.
3 to 4 times a week.
The truth is, it's
3 to 4 times.
At most once a week.
Oh my
Promise
days.
you. At most once a week.
You see, so already there's a discrepancy.
Yeah, because you're exaggerating. That's why there's a discrepancy.
Let's leave that one and let's go on something else. What else?
No, was that your one? No, you haven't actually said a single point that's about social media.
Yeah, but I did mention that I don't think you have a massive problem with social media. Sometimes you do go on Facebook and that, but you know when to stop, sort of thing. So my issues are regarding other things.
What is this?
Like your laptop, your phone, and the lack of attention I get from you.
What's a video, no?
Why?
No, seriously, what's a video?
What does that mean?
So why would you pull out a social media